this live stream now. I'm going to give you guys a minute before we get started. What's up with you guys, man? This is going to be rough. This is going to be rough. And for those of you that missed it, because for whatever reason I had 6:30 a.m. instead of 6:30 p.m., man, I apologize for that. Um, man, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I apologize for that. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. Man, first and foremost, man, thank you guys for being here. Man, today's going to be rough. We need to have a real heart to heart conversation now. We need to have a real heart to heart conversation about what's going on in America. You know what I mean? What's going on, man, especially with quote unquote men. Um, let me share a story first to get this started. Again, I'm 55 years old. When I grew up, I didn't grow up with a father figure. You know what I mean? I didn't grow up with a man in the house. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. And what I mean by that is, yeah, my father murdered my mom, went to prison. I was placed as custody of my aunt, my father's younger sister. Um, her and her husband divorced, and she was raising five kids on her own, doing the best that she could do. So I didn't have a positive male figure in my life. What's up with you, David? Man, at all. You know what I mean? And truth be told, I didn't want any kids. You know what I mean? I didn't want any kids. I didn't want kids because I thought that I had to be like my dad. You know what I mean? I didn't want any kids because, man, I just wanted to do my own thing. You know, and I thank God that, man, God saw fit that I had seven. You know what I mean? From somebody that didn't want any, I ended up with seven beautiful kids, four daughters and three sons. But let's have a real heart to heart about this, though. There's so much going on as far as there's no good men. And a lot of that's because there's a lot of raggedy ass, sorry ass dudes running around pretending to be men. You know what I mean? Pretending, talking a talk, and all that other stuff. But their actions, their character isn't manly at all. And this is not about sexual orientation or none of that stuff. Just being a man. You know what I mean? This is gonna get deep. This is gonna trigger some of you. This is gonna piss some of you off. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? We have to grow up emotionally, And the truth be told, oh God, when we look at what's going on today, it's a direct result of what transpired years ago. Okay? What's going on in today in America with there not been any good men and all this other foolishness, it's a direct result of years of what's taking place in America as far as the narrative, as far as toxic people on both sides, men and women, who didn't heal from their fucking trauma, who didn't heal from their fucking issues. And so either they weren't in their kids' life or they reared their kids in that pain and that trauma that they grew up in. So direct result, we got to catch this. We got to understand this. We got to understand. Again, I'm 55 years old. I remember when women and people were telling their daughters, you don't need a man back in the 70s. You don't need a man. Go get your own stuff. Get your own place, get your own, have your own job, have your own career because you don't need a man. Don't be dependent on no man. We're going there today. This is going to be rough. This is going to be rough, but eye opening at the same time. And so when you look at what transpired prior to that, you had a lot of dudes that was in the household that was hoes, that was drunks, that was abusive. What's up with you, Zaza? That was abusive, that was negligent, that was disrespectful, that was toxic as hell. And those dudes hadn't healed. And yet they were married, having kids. And because those dudes was out wilding out, Those dudes was out hoeing around. Those dudes was mistreating their women. And it goes back earlier than the 70s. Truth be told, if we really dive deep into this, it goes all the way back to World War II. It goes back to the Depression era and the aftermath. We got to understand this. We got to look at today, what's going on today, but we got to learn to look at it from the proper perspective, from the proper lens, from the proper intelligence or education. We got to understand that there was an agenda in place. And what happened a lot was the welfare system was created. Planned Parenthood was created. And the lady that quote unquote founded or created Planned Parenthood, man, there's documentaries. You could go watch her. I don't remember the lady's name. You could go watch her on YouTube talking before the Congress about her purpose in Planned Parenthood. This is going to get deep. You got to understand, this is the foundation of what's going on today. What's going on today is the direct result of all of these things put into place. We got to understand this. So fast forward. So now we got welfare system, and now the government is telling the women you can't have a man, you can't be married, and we'll give you a place to stay. We'll give you and your kids a place to stay, but you can't have a man living with you. And so the pretense was we're trying to help the women. We want to give you a safe place to live. We want to give you an affordable place to live for you and your kids, but you can't have no man. And so now you have guys thinking, man, I'm gonna go out here, but at least I know my woman's taken care of. At least I know my kids have a place to stay. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do for these guys at all. But understand the times. A lot of these guys couldn't find jobs at all. So in order for the family, the house, the woman, the kids to have a place, to be able to get food from the government, to be able to qualify for welfare, she couldn't have her guy living with her. And so a lot of guys said, man, okay, I'm gonna go out. At least this way you guys are safe. At least this way you guys are okay. And so you got all these women raising these kids with the assistance of the government. Those that had houses, those that families that stayed together. The fathers and the mothers were teaching their daughters, don't be dependent on no dude. Get your own shit. Have your own shit. That way, if something happens, you always have a place to stay. You never have to be kicked out of the house when it's you and this guy. When you start dating, you always have your own shit. Have your own source of money, go to school, get your own education, get your own vehicle. Don't be dependent on a guy. So these daughters are raised and they're groomed to not want or need a man. I know this goes against the narrative. This goes against the talk today. This goes against the grain of what we're being told today that there are no good men. There's a shortage of men. That's the bullshit they keep feeding us. That's the bullshit they've been feeding us. So you have these young women growing up, hyper independent. Can't no man tell me shit. I got my own shit. I got my own education. I got my own job. I got my own money. I got my own place. I got my own car. Fuck what a man talking about. This is gonna get deep. And because you have so many guys and girls that was raised in these single households, raised without a man. You look at today, we don't respect authority at all. We don't give two fucks about authority. We don't give a fuck about the cops. We don't give a fuck about the law. We don't give a fuck about teachers. We don't give a fuck about another grown quote unquote dude telling us what we can and can't do. Why? Because we've never had a man in the house to put his foot in our ass. What's up with you, newspaper man? We've never had that positive father figure to check us when we started feeling ourselves. We've never had that father figure to put the fear of God into us. Oh, we had moms and aunties and grandmas who would beat our ass, but that's not the same as a motherfucking dude beating a dude's ass. The real shit. So you got all these dudes growing up not fearing anything. You got all these dudes growing up, no father figure to guide them. And a mom could do the best she could do. But when you look at the fact that the mom is having to work all these jobs to make ends meet, who's raising the motherfucking kids? We're going there today. So without anybody being at home to check the kids, without anybody being at home to correct the kids, without anybody being at home to discipline the motherfucking kids, they raise themselves on the motherfucking streets. Real shit. Real shit. This is why in the 80s, the gang epidemic, especially I'm from California, the Crips and Bloods, the murder rate was fucking crazy. Why? Because there were no men there raising those kids. And so those guys are having babies. What's up with you, Jose? Those guys are having babies. They're sleeping with the next generation of women. And those guys are going in and out of penitentiary behind gang shit, behind dope shit, behind criminal shit, and just whatever the case may be. Those guys weren't raised with fathers, with men, for the most part. And so what they saw was a bunch of dudes on the corner, hanging out, drinking, smoking, gambling, chasing women, driving around with nice Cadillacs. The pimps, the players. And they saw the money. They saw the status in the community. They saw the status with all the women, all the girls. And those guys growing up idolized the pimps and the players, the gamblers, the hustlers. And so they tried to follow suit. Again, I'm 55. When I was a kid, there was things that the adult guys didn't do around us youngins. They would check us and tell us take our ass to fucking school. This was adult shit. This was quote unquote man shit on the fucking block. We couldn't be involved in that shit. Fast forward, 80s. You got all these teenage kids that grew up without a father figure, that grew up without a real man in their life. And understand, again, we got to understand the trauma. We got to understand the issues that a lot of the women, not just women, but the guys had. Like, again, within a lot of communities, mental health wasn't a big thing. We didn't talk about our pain and our traumas back in the 70s and 80s. That's some new shit. But our parents had motherfucking issues that nobody talked about. Our parents had unresolved trauma that they never spoke. They took that shit to the grave with them. The great majority. They didn't speak about feeling unloved. They didn't speak about being abandoned. They didn't speak about being molested. They didn't talk about being raped. They just coped with it best they could. And a lot of the women turned to church and they pushed Jesus was the answer for everything. All they had to do was just pray and cry out to God, and God was going to save their babies. Pray and cry out to God, and God was going to protect their babies. That's the bullshit they were fed. And they believed that with every fiber of their being until their babies started going to jail, until their babies started going to prison, until their babies started dying in the motherfucking streets. And so now, these same dudes, teenagers, who grew up in this hood, who was cool with this person, now they're these people over here that came, robbed this person, and killed this person. Because you killed my cousin, now I gotta pay you back. Because you killed my family, because you killed my boy, because you killed somebody in the community, now we gotta retaliate and go kill you guys. I'm talking about when there are no men in the homes. This is what happens when you take the men out of the fucking homes. There's a whole lot of motherfucking ignorant ass women running around talking about we don't need no fucking men in the house. We don't need no fucking man. Well, we're looking at the fucking results of no man being in the fucking house. We're looking at the direct results of no man rearing, chastising, and beating the fuck out of these raggedy ass nappy head kids. And the truth is, these kids are wilding out because they're hurt too. The young men grew up and they didn't have their fathers in the house, and so now they don't respect quote unquote men. They don't respect grown ass males. Why? Because never mind, their daddy abandoned them. Their daddy wasn't there. Their daddy left them. Their daddy was a hoe, or their mom filled their heads with all this negative, toxic shit about their daddy and why he wasn't there. This is the real shit we don't really want to talk about. This is that real heart to heart, getting down to the root causes of shit nobody really wants to discuss. So you got these women who didn't have a father figure. You got these women who didn't have a positive father figure, who don't know what a man is, hooking up with a dope man, hooking up with the street hustlers, hooking up with the pimps and the players, hooking up with the dude with the car, hooking up with the people that got money. Real shit. And now you got all these women hooking up with these dudes. These dudes ain't fucking men. These dudes ain't dealt with their fucking issues. These dudes are in survival mode too. But they look like a man. They talk like a man. Some of them carrying pistols like a man. And so these women started thinking this is what a man is. And so they're hooking up with these type of dudes, having babies by this type of dude, multiple babies by these type of dudes. She got daddy issues. She got authority issues. She got her own issues of her self-worth and her lack of love and self-love and all this. She got all this other shit she got going on. She just want to be loved. She just want to be provided for. She just want to be cared for. She just wants somebody to protect her. And this dude is willing to protect her. That's his woman. That's his hoe. That's his side chick. That's his piece. Anybody fuck with her, they gonna have to come see me. Anybody fuck with any of hers, they gotta come see me on these motherfucking streets. So now she feels a little safe. But she ain't dealt with her fucking issues. She ain't dealt with her daddy issues. She ain't dealt with her other issues. She just has this guy giving her some attention, buying her a few things, giving her a little bit of money, helping her out, and she's giving him her body. He's not a man. She still has her trauma and her issues. And now she's raising her kids all by her motherfucking self to the best of her ability. hurt people, whether it's intentional or not. Hurt people, hurt people. It was not her intention to fuck off her kids. It was not her intention to bring all these boys into the world and have them die on the fucking streets, have them caught up in the fucking gang violence and locked up in the fucking penitentiary. It was not her intention of bringing all these women into the world, all these girls into the world, having teenage pregnancies and getting caught up in the dope gang, getting caught up in the gang shit, being passed around like the fucking Project Hope. That was not mama's intention. But she chose the wrong people to lay up with. She chose the wrong people to have around the kids. And so you got these next generation growing up, seeing mama getting beat by the dope man, seeing mama get mistreated by the dude on the block. The girls don't respect the dude. The young boys don't respect the dude. Sad reality. We have men that have tried to be in their kids' life. And for whatever reason, the woman didn't want that dude. She didn't want that man. She wanted the dope man. She wanted the hustler. She wanted the dude with the nice ride, all the chains and the bling bling. And so mama left her man because he couldn't provide all the things this dope man could. He can provide all these things this hustler could. And so mama thought by going and leaving her man and taking her kids, she could take her ass back out to the streets and choose a better man. Somebody a little more exciting, somebody a little more fun, somebody with more to offer in life. But the streets don't love nobody. The streets don't give a fuck how good you look. The streets will eat you up and consume you and spit your ass out. Real shit. And so mom is now angry and mad because don't no man want her. So now men ain't shit. And mom and grandma is telling you men ain't shit. Because mom and grandma ain't dealt with their fucking issues. Mom and grandma hooked up with a fucking hoe. Mom and grandma hooked up with a fucking crackhead. Mom and grandma hooked up with somebody on the DL. Mom and grandma ain't resolved their fucking pain and trauma. And now they're trying to quote unquote educate and lace up the little girls so that they don't follow in their footsteps. And so you have these young girls being raised and groomed by mama and aunties and cousins and grandmas. And they've been taught that men ain't shit. They've been taught that men only want a couple things. Men want food and men want sex. That's all these men want. Because their perception, mom and grandmas and all these older women, their perception of what a man is was twisted by their own pain and suffering, by their own poor selection of a dude. But nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that when grandma hooked up with grandpa, grandpa was a fucking hoe already. Grandpa already had a fucking family and he left that family for grandma. Nobody talks about that shit though. So grandma now is having 10 and 12 and 13 kids by this dude who was beating his other woman, by this dude who was cheating on his other woman. And now grandma was angry and pissed because she couldn't tame him, because she couldn't make him go fucking straight and become faithful. And so now grandma is auntie is bitter because they had a man that was going off into the military, or they had a man that was trying to do the right things in life, and they chose not to hook up with him because every man, no, man, I got to build some shit, and it takes time to build some shit. I got to get my own place. I got to get transportation. I got to get a career. I got to get all this shit in line. I'm not gonna make money as fast as the dope man. I'm not gonna make money as fast as gun runners. I'm not gonna make money as fast as these motherfuckers jacking fools out on the street. And so all these women hooking up with this fast money, hooking up with this image of what they thought a real man was. Because man, he's a go-getter. He's ambitious. He sees what he wants and he's out there getting. Never mind the fact that it's illegal. Never mind the fact that he in and out of fucking pen. Never mind the fact that he got other women on the side. Never mind the fact that he got a bunch of other kids all over the fucking city. And the real man, the one that's laying his foundation. And I ain't got time to deal with that. I ain't got time to wait for him to get his shit together. But you got time to wait for this motherfucker to come out the fucking penitentiary. But you ain't got time to build and waste your time on a man that's trying to do the right thing. But you got time and energy for this fast money on the fucking streets. You got time and energy for these knuckleheads on the block that you know are fucking hoes. So now we wonder why young girls grow up, these young boys grow up, and they hate male authority. And if the truth be told, they don't even respect female authority at all. Can't nobody tell these young people shit. They know everything. They got life figured out. They didn't respect how their mama was getting mistreated. They didn't respect how their mama stayed in these toxic ass fucking relationships. They didn't understand how their mama allowed this dude to just cheat on her and beat her and just call her outside her name and just all that other shit. And so now these young girls and boys who was programmed to that shit, who was exposed to that shit, who witnessed that shit, they're growing up thinking, man, fuck all y'all. Fuck all you adults. We don't respect none of you motherfuckers. Truth be told, I remember a time As a young boy, as a young man, as a young girls, they never said anything back to their parents, especially in the black community. Now, wasn't no way in hell you was gonna talk back to mom. Wasn't no way in hell you was gonna even roll your eyes. We couldn't even say, man, shoot. We couldn't. If we thought about doing some stupid, ignorant, disrespectful shit like that, we was getting slapped into the middle of next week. Real shit. And the only people we saw as far as kids having a fucking temper tantrum with their parents was never a black kid, was never a Hispanic kid. It was always some little spoiled ass white kid doing that, laying on the store floor, kicking and screaming and crying because we know better than doing some stupid, ignorant ass shit like that. Because mama, aunties was gonna beat the fuck out of us right then and there. Real shit. Real fucking shit. My aunt pops is in the pen, and I'm wilding out. I ain't got no fucking respect because I see what she going through and what she dealing with, man. And I told her as a little kid, man, can't no woman tell me nothing. And I meant that shit. As a little boy, I'm telling my can't no woman tell me nothing. So that next visit, when going to visit my father every other weekend in the prison, whatever prison he was in, we were driving up there to go visit him. So my auntie told my father. And we always looked at my auntie as a fucking snitch. Every time we do some bad shit, she gonna come up here and tell Pops. We wasn't even scared of Pops. It's like, what the fuck is Pops gonna do? He's locked up. He can't do shit to us. Pops would walk around with me, the prison place. And he would always take me, let's go to they had like a little canteen place right there, with vending machines. And I was the bad one, quote unquote bad one, the rebellious one. And so he'd always take me and we'd go walk to the vending machine. And we're standing there in line getting some shit. And I look around, I remember this like it was yesterday. And I see all these dudes talking to their little boys. And now I'm sitting like, man, was they trying to lace them up? What was they saying to those kids? Because I remember my pop's like, man, what you doing? I know you don't like your auntie telling you da 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 da. I know you don't like your aunt Carolyn saying this and that, da 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 da. But you gotta respect her. And I'm like, Pops, but she did it, did it. And Pops was like, but that's still your auntie. And so Pops is trying to calm me down. Pops is sitting there trying to lace me. It's like, man, yeah, I get it. That's my motherfucking sister. I know she's a fucking pain in the ass. I know she's pushing this bullshit religion. I know she's doing that, and she gets slick with the fucking mouth and she's disrespectful. And Pops is telling me all of this stuff, and I'm sitting and I'm taking it in, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna play the game. I'm gonna play the fucking game. I don't respect her, but I'm not gonna disrespect her. Catch this. Pops couldn't tell me anything to make me respect my aunt. Can't nobody make you respect somebody. Respect is earned. You might fear the repercussions of disrespecting them. That fear is not the same as respect. You might fear the repercussions of cussing out your boss, but it don't mean you respect them. And so you got all these kids growing up not respecting authority. You got all these kids growing up with their trauma and the trauma from their family, and they're just looking for a fucking escape. And I see you on the school. I see you on the block, and we got some type of connection. We start laughing and chopping it up. And the truth be told, it's a trauma bond. And the great majority of us have never understood what trauma bonds are. I'm broken and frustrated and miserable. You're fucked up too. And your fucked up emotions and my fucked up emotions that bring us together. Two hurt, damaged. We don't know how to deal with it. We just know that we get together and there's this commonality that we have. Our family's fucked up. If I ever get, when I get grown, I get married, I'm never gonna root the with the woo. When I get married, my husband's gonna be like da 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 da. And these girls got these fantasies of what their husband is gonna be like. And these boys got these fantasies of what their woman's gonna be like. And it's completely opposite of what we saw in the fucking house. I'm not gonna be like my mama. I'm not letting no da 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 da. I'm not gonna be like my daddy. I'm not gonna be like my uncles. And we got all this stupid shit that we say to each other that we think, and it sounds good. We start having sex. You're pregnant. I'm scared. You're scared. And now your family's calling you fast. Now your family's calling you a tramp. Now your family's calling you a hoe. And all this other stupid shit that fucks up your self-esteem even more. And so they're trying to lace you up how to get on the system, what the government has for you. Because again, none of them was aware of the emotional traumatic damages that have taken place in your life because they wouldn't even aware of their own fucking shit. So they couldn't lace you up in that aspect. They couldn't help you emotionally, spiritually. They gave you God, they gave you the Bible, but that didn't help you. That didn't help you deal with your fucking issues. It became a great distraction for you. I remember as a kid, the church was filled with women. Church today, especially black churches, filled with women, single moms, old women, single. You might have some old guys up in there, deacons, elders, but the great majority of people in the black churches are single moms, single women. But nobody's talking about the fucking problem at all. At all. The problem that we see, oh, they're not a good enough good men, and da da da. And so now these young girls, these young women are growing up thinking that it's a fucking competition for a man. And because there's quote unquote lack of men. So they started changing their fucking bodies and posting up all these fucking raggedy ass, hoish ass fucking pictures to entice the guy to come fuck with them. Because they ain't got shit else to fucking offer. And then you got all these young women that have gone on to school, gotten their education, started their careers, started their businesses, and they've done well for themselves financially, very well for themselves financially. Pulled themselves up out the fucking ghetto, pulled themselves up out the fucking projects, pulled themselves up out the fucking hood. But you know what they didn't do? Pull themselves up out the emotional fucking gutter. You know what they don't know how to do? Pull themselves up out the fucking emotional gutter. Real shit. So you got all these quote unquote successful women. Can't get a man. They can't get a man because they haven't done the work to get a man. They have in turn become the fucking man. This is gonna get heavy. So you got all these women running around. I remember talking to my late wife Cecilia. And Cecilia would always tell her little boys, I'm more man than your daddy is. And that would piss me the fuck off. That would hurt me hearing her say that. And finally, I got to the point that I had to pull her to the side like that. Come here, come here, come talk to me. Don't ever say no stupid shit like that around these kids, to these kids again, especially around me. They're your boys. You can raise them however you want to. But as a man, I'm telling you, you're not more manly than their father. You're not more of a man than their father will ever be. I get it. He suck as a father. I get it. He ain't a fucking man. But you ain't no fucking man either. Yes, I get it. You got a great job. You got nice wheels. You're having to do everything for your boys. But that don't make you a fucking man. That just puts you in male energy. It don't make you a fucking man at all. The male energy has always been the provider, the protector. That's the male energy. I'm gonna go out into the world and I'm gonna conquer the fucking world and I'm gonna bring back the spoils and spoil my wife, spoil my woman, spoil my kids. I'm gonna provide for them. I'm gonna build them a house. I'm gonna da, 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 da. That's the energy of male. That's a male energy. We got to understand this shit. The woman energy, the female energy, has always been the nurturing, loving part of the relationship. It's always been that. Even before corporate America took over. If you look at all of our ancient ancestors, whether you go back to Africa, whether you go back to Europe, whether you look at here in Native America, or where are you from, the men have always gone out to war. The men have always gone out and been the protectors and the providers. The men have always been the fishermen. The men have always been the hunters and brought back the fucking food. The women stayed at home, protected, nurtured, and loved, and educated the kids in every fucking civilization. We've got to grow the fuck up and understand the fucking game that's been played and that has been played. And so now you got all these women, Rosie Riveter, telling all these women, man, you don't need no man. You get your own job. You go out and do this and da, 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 be self-sufficient. Da, da, da. And yes, women have done that. And yes, during the Great Depression and during World War II, women have left the houses going to fucking work. And the government and the people in charge gave these fucking women, played them like a fucking fiddle, and told these women, you don't need a man. Your boys are at war. Your boys can't work these factory jobs. We need you to come out the house. We need you to get in the factory and help provide and protect for your boys. Your men are over there fighting war. Your sons are out fighting. You got to come out the house. We need the women to come out the house. We got to understand why they said that. And there's a documentary where Russell Rousseau, oh God, he was killed for this. He put out this documentary how one of the Rockefellers had reached out to him. This guy, Russell Rousseau, he made movies. He was a bigwig in Hollywood, worked with Eddie Murphy and a bunch of other people back in the 80s in the prime of Eddie Murphy's career. And so this guy was an up and coming Hollywood big shot. And so the Rockefellers, one of the Rockefellers, had a liking to him and brought him in and said, let's talk about this. Why do you give a damn about these poor people? Why do you give a damn about these useless eaters? That's what they called us. Useless eaters. And they will tell them, man, fuck them people. Get your money. Yeah, fuck these people. They're always gonna be fucking animals. And so Russell was Rousseau was asking, was like, man, so da 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 da. And this guy, the Rockefeller was telling us like, man, you know how the women's movement started? Do you understand who we are and what we've done? The women's movement, where they started burning their fucking bras and walking around braless and saying, we don't need no fucking man and we're gonna crash this fucking corporate ceiling and all this other bullshit. Do you know who pushed that? That was an agenda. That was a fucking game that they played on the fucking women. See, we think we're so fucking woke. We think we're so fucking deep. We think we're so fucking smart. See, we don't know shit about fucking real history. We don't know shit about what's really going on. And so the war was just part of the puzzle. It was fucking rigged. It was fucking rigged. Understand that. Why? For a much larger agenda. The war was just a move on the chess table because they already knew what was going to transpire. They already knew once we took the men out of the fucking jobs, once we passed, what was it? I can't think of it right now. Where once you're 18 years old, you got to sign up for the military, the draft. Everybody's going to fucking war except for our kids. We'll send all them little poor black kids. We'll send all them little poor brown kids. We'll send all them poor white kids. They'll go die. Let they raggedy ass die. Fuck them. See, we get so caught up into the divisiveness of black and white. It ain't black and white. Grow the fuck up. They didn't give a fuck about poor white people. So all the men are sent to war. All the factories and the jobs are now left vacant. If you're capable of working, you was capable of taking your ass overseas and fucking dying as a guy. And they push this patriotic movement. Oh, you don't love your country. You don't love your servicemen. You don't love your military. If you don't come out the fucking house and go to these jobs and work and help us stay strong as a nation, help us stay strong so we can protect our servicemen overseas. And all it was all a fucking game. It was all a fucking game. It was all a fucking lie to push the women's movement, which the Rockefellers funded. Why? Not because they give a fuck about women. They didn't give a fuck about women. White women, brown women, black women. They didn't give a fuck about none of you women. If the truth be told, we've got to grow the fuck up and understand this bullshit. Yeah, I get passionate about this shit because we're so fucking gullible. We believe anything they fucking tell us and never do our own fucking due diligence. So they sent all these guys to war. And they told these women, if you loved America, if you loved your sons, if you loved your husbands, come out the house and start work. Why? Not because they want you to have a fucking career, because they understood a few things. Number one, if they could send the men to war, open up all these jobs and fill them with women and push women into the job market, we can now tax the fuck out of women, just like we're taxing the dudes. Understand this. Understand the fucking game. Understand the fucking agenda. Now all these women are flooding the job market, having to pay taxes. It's more money for them. Stay with me. Not only is it more money, look at what transpired during that time frame. Understand what was going on. The women were at home cooking healthy food. The women were at home training the kids. Now that the women are out having to work, they don't have time to be at home raising the kids. They don't have time to come home and cook a full course meal. So what happened? In comes all the fucking fast food. In comes all the fucking snacks and bullshit. What did that start doing to the women? Now women are having to stress out. Women are going out there working, da 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 da. That's not what women are built for. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. You're not built to be out in the fucking workforce like this. This is not some male chauvinistic shit. This is fucking fact. This is fucking reality. Check this out. Now you got all these women working, stressing, because now they got to come home and take care of the house. They're tired. They're exhausted. They don't have time to train their kids like they used to. Their bodies are breaking down because they're not eating healthy. They're eating all this processed shit. Their kids are eating all this processed shit. This is why so many women are fucking depressed. Depressed as fuck. Understand this? They fucked you over. They ran a fucking game on you and told you the object was love America, love your man. You don't need a man. Come out, take care of your own. So now you're in your male energy. Your natural energy is being loving and nurturing and supportive. But you have to take off that energy and take on the male energy of being a provider, of being a protector. And so now, most women, Google it if you don't believe me, are full of some type of anxiety. Most women are on some type of antidepressant medication or need to be. Most women, their health has gone to shit. They're obese, they got high blood pressure, and all these other fucking ailments because they're not in their natural n- energy. They're not. This is not about bashing women. But when you look at the game and you look at what these guys, the Rockefellers, did, they manipulated the women. Now they're taxing the fuck out of them. Now nobody's learning how to cook. Nobody's really cooking like they used to. Women aren't today ain't the same as they used to be at all. Men ain't the same either. Stay with me. I'm going so males, put it males ain't the same. So now you got all these women with this competitive nature, which is a male energy. Now women are competing. Women are trying to work because being a stay-at-home mom is no longer appealing. Being a stay-at-home wife is no longer appealing because the people that came before them, the guys and the women that came before them, had fucking trauma that they never fucking dealt with. And so the dudes weren't fucking men. They were hoes and all kind of shit. So these women was like, fuck this, I'm not dealing with this shit no more. Fuck these guys. Fuck these men. I could do anything a man can do. And they've taken on that male energy to compete with men, and they can't. That's not saying that you, as a woman, can't go out into corporate America, become a successful lawyer, a successful doctor, and all that other stupid shit. That's not what I'm saying. Look at the cost of what has transpired here in America when the women left their natural roles. So now women are out the way because they're at work. The women are out the way because they're fucking exhausted. Now we got the television. Understand the timing of everything. There are no fucking coincidences in this. Back then, and even up to the late 70s, I don't know what it's called now, but back then, it was called television programming. Television programs. They were programming your vision. They were programming your psyche. So now the women out the way. And you got these latchkey kids. You got all these kids coming home to empty houses, to empty apartments, turning on the television, being programmed. See, we don't understand the psyche warfare that has been taking place and that is still taking place. We don't understand the psychological warfare that we're up under, even today, with social media. They'll allow a few women post these pretty pictures, videos, and they'll blow up. And they'll get all these followers. Why do they call them influencers? Have you ever really thought about that? Why do they call these girls that ain't offering you shit but pictures of them, little short videos of them? They ain't helping you deal with your fucking issues. They ain't doing anything to really lace you up and help you become a better person. But they're influencers. Hmm. What the fuck are they influencing? Who the fuck are they influencing? How are they influencing? So now you got all these young girls thinking, man. And one of the problems that I had with hip hop was that hip hop changed and hip hop started taking on this influencing role in the culture. Where now you started seeing all these videos, these music videos, with all these girls showing their cleavage, with all these girls in these tight jeans and showing all their shit. And so these videos, dudes, nice cars, the bling bling, nice houses. And in order for these girls to hook up with a man, quote unquote man, like that, this is what they had to do. They had to get out and shake their ass. They had to get out and expose their titties. They had to get out and suck some dick and fuck and all kind of other stupid ass shit. Why? In the hopes of getting a man of influence. And so the culture was fuck these bitches. Money over hoes. Bro before hoes. Fuck these ninjas. Fuck these men. We don't need no fucking man. Why? Because they bought into the bullshit. They sold their ass and everything else. And it didn't get them the peace, the joy, and all the other shit they thought it would. So now these women are like bitter and angry and feeling used because they bought into the fucking lie. And the lie came back to bite them in their fucking ass. Ah, now let's talk about these dogs who had trauma too, who also bought into the fucking lie. They out there banging for a fucking street that they don't belong to. What I mean, that street they don't fucking own. The street was there before they was born, and the street will be there after they fucking die. The street don't even carry their fucking name. But they bought into the lie too. Let's go get this fast money. Fuck a job. Fuck working 9 to 5. These bitches don't give a fuck about a man. They only want these motherfuckers that got fast money and big cars and whoop de whoop. So I'm gonna go out here in these motherfucking streets and I'm gonna get my motherfucking hustle on. I'm gonna go out in these motherfucking streets and I'm gonna jack a motherfucker. I'm gonna go out in these motherfucking streets and I'm gonna spill some motherfucking blood. I'm gonna go out in these motherfucking streets and I'm gonna and all this stupid ass shit because these motherfuckers bought the lie too. They bought the lie too. And so now you got all these young males locked up in the fucking prison system. You got all these young males who bought into the fucking fairy tale and they ruined their fucking life. Real shit. And so now these influencers, these influencers, these women influencers have told women. See, again, I'm 55 years old. I remember when it was cool for you to be married to a cop. That was something, that was status. That was cool. To be married to a fireman, to be married to a teacher. That's just middle class. To be married to a carpenter, to be married to an electrician. But women don't want guys like that now. Those type of guys, those type of men don't attract women today because they don't have the deep pockets. They can't fly you to Aruba and to Bali and to all these other places. They go to work, they come home and take care of their responsibilities. They live that quote unquote married lifestyle. That's their mentality. That's a man's mentality. I'm gonna take care of home. That's male energy. I'm gonna take care of home. But women don't want that now because that's boring. I want more. I deserve more. Because these raggedy ass fucking quote unquote influencers have told all these women that you could be 200 pounds overweight. You could be butt fucking ugly and you're still a 10. And you deserve one of the 1%ers. You deserve people that make over $100,000 a year. And if your man ain't making over $100,000 a year, he's a broke ass, dusty ass motherfucker, and he ain't no fucking man. That's what the social media influencers have told these young women. They posted up all these videos and pictures of them on an island somewhere, on a vacation somewhere, on a yacht somewhere, on a jet somewhere. And she got all these young women, growing up thinking, this is what I'm gonna be. This is what I want. This is a man. And if you can't provide this for me, then you're not a fucking man. You got all these women who were married to men. Men. I'm not talking about these knuckleheads on the streets. I'm talking about men. I'm not talking about these hoish ass unhealed dudes on the streets. Women that were married to men. And these women have ruined their fucking relationship, ruined their fucking families, buying into the bullshit of these social media influencers. What's up with you chosen for infinity love? So you got all these women turning their backs on their man, throwing their family into chaos, going back out into the streets, looking for a Prince fucking Charming, looking for somebody that's going to wine them and dine them and fly them all over the world, that's going to spoil them and pamper them. Somebody that's got six figures and they ain't got to do shit. They don't know how to cook. They're not intelligent. They can't carry on a full fucking conversation about anything other than what's going on in fucking social media. And yet they think they deserve. Yet they convince themselves that they're going to get a man that makes over six figures. And so you got these men that are brokenhearted because they've done what they were programmed to do. And what I mean by that program, man, they were raised okay. Or they dealt with their fucking trauma and their issues and they evolved and said, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna be my fucking daddy. I'm not gonna be my raggedy ass uncles. I'm gonna go out here and do something with my life. I'm gonna do something positive and constructive. If I'm a coach, I'm a coach. If I'm a teacher, I'm a teacher. If I'm a policeman, if I'm a fireman, if I'm a scientist, well, whatever the fuck they chose to do as their fucking career, they had a fucking career. Now all these women don't want them because they don't make enough money. And they can't provide the lifestyle that these women think they deserve, that these women think they're entitled to. And so now the story is there are no real men. That's the narrative been pushed. There are no real men. And it's always coming from unhealed fucking women. It's always coming from women with fucking psychological issues they've never dealt with. And they won't be honest with themselves. Real shit. Real shit. And then when they get their ass out on the streets after divorcing a man, because they think they deserve more. They think they're entitled to more. Oh, he's boring and he won't do this and he won't take me out here and he works two jobs and he works all this and he don't have time to spend with us and all this other bullshit that they say to justify them running back out to the fucking streets. Now they don't ran their ass back out to the streets and the streets don't want their ass except maybe the fuck and that's about it. And so my phone is low. I'm gonna have to plug it in. I apologize for that. So I'm gonna have to adjust the camera so I can plug my phone in. And so all these women ran back out into the streets looking for men after having left a man. And now they're bitter and angry because they can't get a man, because the man don't want them. Because not only they're emotionally damaged, they're used fucking goods. They come with all these fucking expectations and entitlements that they ain't fucking earned. And so now the competition's gotten so great with these women chasing these quote unquote men that make six figures and above. They're getting ass jobs done. They're getting their titties done. They're getting tummy tucks, getting their lips done. They're getting all this superficial shit to make them appear to be better because they think that increases their chances. That increases their fucking odds of meeting a man. But ain't no man giving a fuck about that shit. Real men don't give a fuck about your fake titties. Real men don't give a fuck about your fake ass. Real men don't give a fuck about your tummy tuck. That's these superficial fucking dudes. That's these motherfuckers out here that don't really give a fuck about you as a person. That's these simple minded motherfuckers that really don't give a fuck about you women. That you would have to go change everything about you. What's up with you, Valentino? You would have to change everything about you physically in hopes of finding a man, in hopes of trying to attract a man. But men don't give a fuck about that superficial shit. Not at all. They've never given a fuck about that superficial shit. Real shit. So now you got all these women who've broken up their marriages. And when you look at in America, who files for divorce? In America, who files for divorce? I believe the last stat I saw was like 90, 95% of divorce filings are filed by the woman. Understand that. Catch that. It's the women leaving the fucking families. It's the women destroying the fucking families. For whatever reason. Maybe you hooked up with a knucklehead and you thought he was a fucking man. But a lot of the women have left men thinking that they could do better, only to find out, damn, he was a fucking man. And I'm watching him blow up now. I'm watching him glow up now. I'm watching him come into his own shine now. He got all this shit go. He didn't have that shit going from when I was with him. He wasn't doing all that shit when I was with him because you didn't understand. It takes time to build some shit. You want that easy shit. You want that shit already taken care of. You want that shit already handmade. Just hand it to you on the fucking plateau, on the pedestal. And so you women are leaving these men because you think you could do better. because you're watching all these fucking stupid ass social media influencers tell you the streets is where it's at. You got people like Tia Mowry. And I never really talked about this too much, but this is a fucking prime example of what the fuck is going on with the women. Perfect example. Tia and her husband, actors. Tia was the primary breadwinner because she got started a whole lot younger, a whole lot earlier than him. Married, had kids, married for years. And he, man, he did his thing. He just stayed in the back and just let her shine. He wasn't afraid of her shine. He wasn't afraid of letting her do her thing. He wasn't afraid of the lights being on her because he knew he was a fucking man. All the women, after she filed for her divorce, after she separated and filed for her divorce, all the women hyping her up. Yes, sis, you can do bad by yourself. And yes, sis, you can do better than that. And yes, sis, he ain't shit. And yes, sis, I know you tired of being a breadwinner. And whoop de whoop doop and da 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 and all this stupid ass shit. Tia ran her ass back out to the fucking streets. All these fucking women hyping her up. All these fucking toxic ass, unhealed ass fucking women gassing her up, making her think the streets is it. Where is that? Tia's finding out the hard way. The streets don't give a fuck about you. And if the truth be told, all these fucking unhealed, traumatized fucking women gassing you up didn't give a fuck about you either. Because if these women really cared about you, they would have told you keep your dumb, simple-minded ass at fucking home. They would have told you you got a good fucking man. What the fuck are you doing? Why the fuck are you ruining your fucking family? Why are you breaking your family apart? What the fuck is going on with you emotionally, psychologically? What the fuck is wrong with your self-esteem? What the fuck is wrong with your self-worth? What the fuck is wrong with your quote unquote inflated ego? See, if they were her real sisters, if they were real fucking women, if they really gave a fuck about Tia, they would have sat her ass down and told her she was wilding the fuck out. They would have told her sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and stay in your motherfucking lane. You got a good fucking man. You got a great thing going for you. What the fuck you talking about? Tia ran her ass back out to the streets. Her husband, broken hearted, retreated. Didn't say shit, just retreated. Licked his motherfucking wounds. Took all the fucking criticism from all these raggedy ass, trifling ass fucking women attacking him and gassing his fucking ex up. He took the blunt of all of the shame because when marriages fail, they blame the man. It's the man's fault why the marriage failed. And as men, man, I couldn't keep my marriage together. And so that's like a loss to us. That's an epic fucking failure to us. And so now Tia's out there doing what she do. She's all over fucking social media, putting up all these fucking pictures and videos, and all these fucking toxic ass, unhealed ass fucking women that don't know what a fucking man is gassing her ass up, gassing her ass up. And now she's had that come to Jesus moment. She's had that reality check. Damn, I fucked up. And you know when she had that? And this is why, and this is how it always happens. After her husband Corey licked his wounds, stayed silent, stayed off of social media, didn't post shit about her, didn't say anything negative about her, she's all over the fucking place. Telling the world about, man, she graduated from her fucking marriage. Corey just did what he's supposed to do. He went through it, he grew through it, he healed, and he kept plugging away. Got a movie role, started getting roles, started making more money than he's ever made. Far more successful now than he's ever been. He's the cream now. All these women are looking at Corey totally different now. Like, damn, Tia was tripping. The fuck was Tia talking about? Corey blowing up. Corey doing his thing. That's a fucking man. And Tia lost a fucking man. Now she want to come back. He's cool. I'm good. No, no. And that's what happens for the great majority of you women. If the truth be told, you have a man, you leave him, he suffers, he cries, he's brokenhearted, he goes through his depression, he goes through his anger, and he begins to heal from that. And after he heals, he starts to get his shine back, and he gets more of a shine. He becomes to glow more. He begins to glow more, and everybody around sees the glow. Tia saw the glow, but she did too much. Tia saw the glow. She sees the glow, but she let social media gas her fucking ass up. She let these raggedy ass, toxic ass, unhealed ass fucking women gas her the fuck up. And she's gonna regret that the rest of her motherfucking life. It is what it is. It is what it motherfucking is. I remember when my younger kid's mom were living in California. She's a registered nurse. When she left, talking about she could do bad all by herself and all this other bullshit. She went back to, she tried to get back with her ex-boyfriend. Matter of fact, she brought him out from Mississippi out to California. That fucked me up. That fucked me up. I'm a single father again, raising my two. I'm fucked up over the fact that, man, she took my babies from me. She chose a dude that beat her ass. She chose a dude that was dogging her out. She chose a dude that was cheating on her, right? Did the most. And it is what it is. I had to deal with that. I had to heal from that. I had to grow from that. And then when I finally met my late wife Cecilia, and we started dating and got engaged, got married, bought this 2,400 square foot home. I built this big koi pond inside of it, swimming pool, hot tub in the backyard, just living life. I finally had a woman that was willing to build with me. I had a woman that, man, she saw me as a fucking man. I had to raise my fucking standards. I had to raise my fucking frequency. I had some shit I had to deal with and heal from after my kid's mom left. And so now my kid's mom shooting me text messages talking about, I don't know why you marrying her. I don't know why y'all married. And you need to move back. And she had moved the kids to Georgia. Talking about, you need to move out here to Georgia. Help me raise these kids. We got history. Man, fuck you and our fucking history. I don't mean no disrespect by that, but fuck you and our fucking history. You didn't give a fuck about our history. You didn't give a fuck about the kids when you packed them up and left. You didn't give a fuck when you left me to go back to that motherfucker that was beating your fucking ass. None of that shit mattered to you then. None of that shit was fucking important to her then. Until she went back out in the fucking streets. And the streets didn't want her ass. Four kids, overweight. The streets didn't give a fuck about her. The streets didn't want shit to do with her at all. She saw me blowing up. She saw me raising my frequency. She saw me raising my vibration. She saw all these other women that looked better than her, that had more to offer than her, taking interest in me. She tried to turn the kids against me. How's he gonna play daddy to those kids over there, and he won't be your daddy? That's your daddy, but she got three boys, but that's not his kids, and all the stupid ass shit that you toxic ass fucking unhealed women do when you're bitter and angry because you don't fucked up and you don't want to take accountability for your fucking actions. So you want to turn the whole world, including your kids, against their daddy. See, because none of that shit mattered about me being a man when she left. None of that shit mattered about me being a good father. None of that shit mattered about me being a protector and a provider and all this other shit. None of that shit mattered to her. She wanted what she wanted. She had to fuck around and find out the hard way. And then she became bitter, bitter as fuck. And it is what it is. It ain't a shortage of men at all. It's just the great majority of people haven't fucking dealt with their fucking issues, including a lot of you toxic ass women. Yes, there's a whole lot of sorry ass fucking dudes out there. There's a whole lot of dudes that ain't worth shit because of their pain and their trauma and the choices that they've made. And just like there's a whole lot of dudes that ain't shit running the fucking streets, there's a whole lot of you sorry ass, trifling ass fucking women running the fucking streets. And your fucking education don't matter. My baby mama, my kid's mom. got a master's degree. Her degree didn't stop her from making stupid ass fucking choices. Her degree didn't stop her from or help her deal with her fucking issues. You can't get mad now and flip the script and talk about ain't no fucking men when you made poor choices and abandoned the fucking man you had. You talk about ain't no good men. You wasn't talking about good men when you was sleeping around with all these motherfuckers on the streets, having babies by all these motherfuckers on the streets. They didn't have to be no fucking men for you to lay up in bed with them. They didn't have to be a fucking man for you to bring a fucking kid into the world by them. That's the shit that nobody really wants to talk about. And now you want to flip the script. Now you want to say, in order for a man to talk to me, in order for a man to date me, he got to have da 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 da. Da. Okay, well, where was those motherfucking standards and expectations when you was having all the fucking raggedy ass kids? Where's that standard and expectation for you to provide that shit for your fucking self? Since you don't need no fucking man. You don't need no fucking man, but you don't make six fucking figures. You don't need no fucking man, but you can't provide your own shit. You don't need no fucking man, but you can't take yourself on vacation and do all the shit that you quote unquote think you're entitled to do. You don't need no man, but you can't buy all the bags and all the stupid shit you think you're entitled to. It's a trip out. We have these standards and expectations for men, but ain't got shit for women. We ain't got no fucking standards and expectations for women. I was a single father for 9 years. 9 years. I know the struggle being on your own. I didn't have a mom or a dad around that could help me with my kids. When I say I was a single fucking father, I was a single fucking father on my motherfucking own. They own mama wouldn't do shit for them at all. Ain't never sent them shit ever. So I know the struggles of being single. I'm being a single parent. I know how challenging it is because I've lived it. I've lived that shit. So I'm not talking to you about some shit I don't read. I'm talking about firsthand fucking experience. So we got to grow the fuck up. And again, I didn't want kids at all. I didn't want not near one of my kids. But I'm so grateful and thankful for all seven of them. I adore every one of them. I'm so grateful and thankful for my five grandkids. It took me becoming a single father to evolve into being a man. Understand that. a single father, no fucking help from nobody. I had to grow the fuck up emotion. I had to deal with my fucking pain and my fucking trauma. I had to deal with my father murdering my mama. I had to deal with being sexually molested at the age of 6 by guys in the church. I had to deal with all the stupid shit that I've been carrying. I had to evolve, become a man. My thought process of what a man was twisted just like everybody else's. I thought in order to be a man, you had to be yoked as fuck. In order to be a man, you had to be tatted down. In order to be a man, you had to have a lot of money. And so I'm out there doing all that shit, 235 pounds solid fucking muscles, tatted up. That didn't make me no motherfucking man at all. At all. It is what it motherfucking is. As guys, we gotta understand that, man, the world don't really give a fuck about us. And that's okay. As a guy, you're expected to lace up your motherfucking boots and stay on fucking point. As a guy, you're expected to get your motherfucking job and do what you got to do to take care of your house. And as a guy, you're supposed to just keep plugging along. Whether people abandon you, reject you, talk about you, it don't fucking matter. We're supposed to be quote unquote strong. None of that shit's supposed to phase us. We're not supposed to have any fucking trauma, any fucking issues. We're supposed to just bear it and you know what I mean? And just take all the shit that society throws at us. Because the great majority of us have been programmed and taught men don't fucking cry. And so we grew up non-emotional. We grew up not knowing how to deal with our fucking emotions. Because that was some bitch shit. That's what we was told. You better not cry. And the dudes that was the OGs back then, the people that we looked up to back then, that was on the fucking streets. Yeah, we didn't understand that they were damaged emotionally. They had their own trauma and bullshit that they hadn't dealt with. And so they're lacing us up and I mean, you better not get no fucking feelings for these fucking bitches. Man, fuck these bitches. Run through they fucking ass. But when she start fucking crying, that's her way of emotionally manipulating. Cut that raggedy bitch off. Cuss her the fuck out anytime she wants to start crying and whining. And no, we ain't got time for that shit. It's gonna make you fucking soft. It's gonna make you a fucking punk. She's trying to break you down. That's the shit that I was laced up with. That's the shit that most of us young guys was taught on the fucking streets. We didn't give a fuck about a woman's feelings because that was her way of emotionally manipulating us. That's the shit we believed. And so here's the trick. We grow apart, non-emotional. And there's only two times that guys that grow up in that type of atmosphere are allowed to show emotions. When your homie dies, Somebody in the family that you deeply care about, you love. When that person dies, or one of the homies, you're allowed to shed a tear. You're also allowed to show some emotions when your sporting team wins or loses. That's it. That's it. When your team wins the World Series, your team wins the NBA championship, your team wins the Super Bowl, man, you go wild the fuck out. You screaming, you're a fucking cheerleader. You're hyped the fuck up. Those only two times you're allowed to show some fucking emotion. Otherwise, you're a fucking punk. You ain't no fucking man. That's the shit that we were taught. So, how do you take males that's so detached from their emotions? They've never understood their own emotions. They've never cared about their own emotions. And now they're in a relationship with a woman, and she's an emotional being. How is that supposed to work? They're both toxic as fuck. They're both unhealed. He's got emotions he's never dealt with, emotions he's never faced. She's emotional. And now they're clashing. He don't give a fuck about her emotions. He don't want to be around her when she gets emotional. She could be going through some shit, real shit, crying and shit. I ain't got time for this crying shit. I ain't got time for this emotional shit. Let me know when you want to talk when you ain't fucking crying. Let me know when you want to talk when you're not fucking emotional. I'm out this bitch. I can't take this shit. I'm out. And he leaves. And you hate him for leaving you vulnerable like that. You hate him because he disrespected your transparency. You were showing your raw, true nature, your feelings, your emotions. And he completely blew you the fuck off. He completely dismissed you. He abandoned you in a vulnerable state. And now he ain't shit. Now men ain't shit. And he has his own shit he's never dealt with. So there's no way he knows how to deal with your shit. Your shit is triggering his shit. So he's like, I can't take this. I'm out. Hurt people hurt people. And it's not even intentional a lot of times. And that's the part that's most fucked up. They're not intentionally trying to hurt you. You're not intentionally trying to hurt them, but you both got psychological fucking wounds you never learned how to deal with and understand in a healthy manner. So it's inevitable. There's going to be a clash. Somebody, both parties are going to get hurt. And it is what it is. So reality is a fact of fucking life. We got to grow the fuck up emotionally and deal with our shit. As guys and as women, we got to learn how to deal with our shit. Because what we see today, especially here in America, this is the direct results, the aftermath of unhealed people coming together and bringing babies into the world that grow up into unhealed adults. And everybody's carrying this fucking trauma, and nobody's really talking about the fucking trauma. Nobody's talking about solutions. And so you go to church and you pray and you cry and you give your tithes and offering, and that don't fix shit. It don't change anything because you're not dealing with your fucking wounds. You're not dealing with your fucking issues. So you leave church, you give up on God, and everything else in this is all fucking fake, and this is just who I am, this is just who I'm gonna be, and da 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 da. We'll do, and motherfuckers gotta just accept me for who I am. No, the fuck we don't. I accept the fact that you got issues. I accept the fact that you got trauma and shit you haven't dealt with, you don't even understand. I accept that because it's a fucking reality. I accept that. But what I ain't got to do is stay here and deal with your motherfucking bullshit. What I ain't got to do is allow you to come around and keep crying that woe is me and being a motherfucking victim. Because I'm gonna tell you to grow the fuck up emotionally. I'm gonna tell you to deal with your motherfucking bullshit. We're not gonna sit here and point the finger at him and your daddy and your mama and your uncles and your cousins and your baby daddy over here and all these mother man. It ain't about them. It's about you getting to a motherfucking place in your life where you say, man, I'm sick and tired of carrying this fucking shit. I'm sick and tired of being fucked up emotionally like this. I'm sick and tired of walking around with this fucking anger, this fucking low self-esteem, this fucking self-hatred. I'm sick and tired of sabotaging myself. I'm sick and tired of being miserable and just angry. I just want some motherfucking peace. And if you never get to that place, you're never going to be all that you came here to be. You're never going to have all the joy, peace, and love that you're entitled to. You're entitled to all the joy and happiness that the world has to offer. You're entitled to that. But nobody's giving you that shit. You got to earn that shit. And you earn that shit only by dealing with your fucking shit and letting it go. That's it. It's not guys' fault. It's not women's fault. It's individual thing. Once you get to a certain age, you're old enough to start making your own motherfucking choices. Once you get to a certain age, you're old enough to start making your own fucking decisions. I don't give a fuck what happened to you. Again, I shared with you the trauma that I went through of seeing my dad murder my mom when I was two, of being sexually molested, of being beat down by my fucking family, verbally and physically. But there had to come a certain time in life. It's like, man, okay, I'm sick and tired of carrying this shit. I'm sick and tired of being a fucking victim. I'm sick and tired of dealing with this fucking shit. How can I fucking heal from this? How can I let this shit go? And until you get to that place, until you get to that place, you'll never be the man that you're capable of being. You'll never be the woman that you're capable of being. And it is what it motherfucking is. We've got to grow the fuck up and stop blaming everybody else. There are no shortage of men. There are no shortage of good men. There are no shortage of good women. The problem is you don't deserve one right now because you haven't put in the motherfucking work to become one right now. And we got to catch that. As painful as that is to hear, we got to deal with our shit. We got to raise our fucking vibration. And the sad reality, some people, your karmic debt is you're going to live single for the rest of your life because you fucked over a good one. You fucked over a chosen one. You fucked over a real man of God. You fucked over a real woman of God. And that's going to be your scar. That's going to be your cross. You're entitled to live however you want to live. You're entitled to make whatever choices you want to make. But what you cannot do is choose that outcome. You can't control what happens. And that's the part that hurts. And that's the part that should hopefully get you to wake the fuck up and grow the fuck up. It is what it is. Man, family, I thank you guys for hanging out with me this long. I didn't plan on being this long, but man, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for rocking with me. I love you guys. Happy health, family. Peace.